So now I'd like to turn to Martin Breckbill, MMR, who is scratch building a car. Martin, welcome.
Okay, let's see if we can get this thing to behave tonight. And so far, so good. Hey, what do you know? It actually worked and I haven't got an error message yet. Scratch. Okay, tonight, actually, it's two cars. I'm going to build a pair of them at the same time in parallel. We're going to follow Planck's constant all the way through this to stay on the up and up. So, start with the basic flat car frame that I've shown 10 or 15 times. This is about 38, 37 feet long. We've got a pile of bolsters that are pre-drilled and tapped for 440. Some needle beams. I don't remember what those even are in size. So train lines installed. We're ready to build. We got 20 doors built up board by board. There's a lot of 2x6 boards here. These are 1.5 by something. I don't remember what they are. It's an odd scale size, but building this car permitted me to get rid of them, that whole bag of those that I had left over. So they're done. We have 20 doors, and you can see some foreshadowing over here. There's a black dot, another black dot, something here. There's some more black dots. Oh yeah. So we're going to drill holes left to right, or right to left, depending on how you feel like it, through all these doors on the sides. These are 3x4s. These are, sorry, they're two, they're 3x4s. These are also 3x4s. And we're going to drill holes through all these, and then we're going to string them up on a piece of 20 thousandths brass wire, or yeah, it's 22 thousandths brass wire in this particular slide. And you can see the little black dots all sort of line up pretty close. Close enough that it won't get us into trouble later. Well, minimal trouble later. It's nothing to get excited about now, or later even. So we have 6 stakes, 5 doors. That makes a side. So we got to make 4 of those. But while we're doing that, okay, so back up just a second. Picking this up, it's all completely floppy. There's nothing holding that. All these, those 11 pieces can rotate freely. So all 5 doors, 6 stakes rotate freely. Makes it a lot of fun to play with and manipulate. You know, it's like herding cats chasing a herd of squirrels. So, make it a lot easier. We'll put a couple of 3x8s behind these from the inside. That's going to be the inside of the wall, doors on the outside. Glue these on here with some carpenter's glue. Now it's a rigid structure. Now we have a side, except it's too long on each side, so we just nip those off and nip off the excess brass wire as well. And that gets glued to one of the flat car blanks. And you can never have too many of these clamps. And I don't have enough. I know I don't have enough. I've only got 12 or 16 of them. And it's not enough because every now and then I've got to pull down some of my other clamps off the wall. So it's a trip to wherever I got these, and I got to buy another bag or 2 of the daggone things. They're just incredibly useful. And there's what a completed side looks like after it's glued on. And actually, the other side's on and the ends are on. So we'll have to swivel around here and show you what the ends look like. A lot of 3x8s stacked up, glued together, edge glued together. These are 4x4s on the ends and in the spacing this, so there's 3 equal spaces. It's all glued together as a unit, and each one is fitted to each car individually, each end, because try and prefab it and pretend that I'm going to hit this right the first time 4 times in a row or even once in a row. I don't trust myself to be able to do it. It's easier to just build it custom, to build each end. It matches, it slides into place. A little bit of glue on each end. it's locked into place. It's not going anywhere. Okay, so we added stake pockets. Someone's got to hold these stakes on. These are from Scale City Designs. These are the old keel line white metal castings. Scale City sells them now. They're really quite nice. They fit exactly over this size of stake. So this is a 3x4 turned 3 inches deep, 4 inches wide. Unlike the Grant Line stake pockets, where it's 3 inches by 4 inches the other direction. And we've started adding some nut bolt washer castings. There's going to be a lot of them. I used up a couple of bags of Grant Line number 23s on these two cars. So you got to remember, I'm only showing you one car, but there's actually two of these going on at the same time. There's the end. Like I said, just a few nut bolt and washers. I got a little connecting rod, tie rod holding the thing together. I came back later, maybe you've seen very late pictures. There's actually another set of nut bolt and washer castings above the brass wire. This is actually some Tichy 20,000 phosphor bronze. Okay, so it's no fun unless you make an interesting interior for the car. Just a plain, boring, flat interior isn't interesting. So we build a support at each end, mortise out a square piece of square stock the same size so it sits flat on the support, and then put scribe siding right along the edge, and that comes down. It fits like right up against the back of the door, right against the stake. So now the doors can't swing in, they can only swing out when this is done. And we'll fast forward a few miles and we have 2 assembled cars. So we got the interior here done, and there's a ridge cap out of styrene and cross ties across the top on 2 cars, and a lot more nut bolt and washer castings. Let's go look a little closer. This is just 10,000 styrene that was folded repeatedly and glued into place. These are these are actually 4x4s. They are drilled, and below that nut bolt and washer casting, there's actually a steel pin that's actually goes down into this board about maybe eighth to 3/16 of an inch down into the top board, which actually is the strength that holds the sides together. And then this is just a shaved off nut bolt and washer sitting on top of the steel pin. So I use a lot of steel pins for structural strength. Just go and get a the standard steel pin that they use for sewing, and you can just nip that off at whatever length you need and nip the head of it off. By the way, the head makes a good doorknob, but they work well and they add a lot of strength, particularly for this type of application. Okay, we got all the nut bolts and washers, and we got started putting some grab irons on the sides here. We come back and put some more nut bolt and washers on it, make those look like they're actually bolted to the side of the car. Added a ladder at both ends. That's a laser cut ladder. I didn't feel like building a ladder. I'm not sure where these come from exactly, but they fit. They slide right behind this steel, this brass, the phosphor bronze wire. So I put them in afterthought, but they go right in and they fill this space perfectly. So I don't worry about them fitting oddly or anything. Well, at this point, we can flip the car over because it's nice and stable. And we put the entire K-brake system in. So, and the truss rod system. So it's one piece of surgical silk threaded all the way through from one end to the other, lifted up on the Grant Line queen post, put the turnbuckles in, of course, as you thread the silk through. After it's all dried, you lift them up. The only mistake here I made is these are 10-inch queen posts, and picking them up and putting them on there is a lot harder than a 5-inch one. It's actually, these were, I was worried I was gonna collapse the car or break the queen post. These are actually the really nice levers from that are no longer available, unfortunately, from Berkshire Valley. You can just make these out of styrene, or I can cast them in resin, not worry about it. It's not a complicated thing. These are the nice lever hangers from Precision Scale. I don't know. I have no idea where I got what the origins of these are. I got them in a box of parts at the Indianapolis O-Scale meet a couple of years ago. They're rather nice ones. So, you have to drill out a hole, thread your wire into it, and make your clevises out of Grant line turnbuckles. Run a wire over. It's got a piece of chain hooked to it, right to the stirrup for the brake. And you can see it over here. Same thing. Air hoses. These air hoses are actually Precision Scale castings. They're actually soldered into some 3/64 brass tubing that I use as a union joint that slides right on top of this 32 thousandths brass wire. So it makes a nice joint there, and that doesn't come back off as a result. You can see I have the stirrup steps on the sides as well. Now look at the sides. You can see those stirrup steps. This is before I actually, well, I didn't pin these on. There's different type of cast steps. But now we have latches for the sides made out of some brass stock. There's a hole drilled in the middle, not the middle, offset, that's hooked, got a pin through it. There's a piece that sticks out here, a little handle, and there's a hole up here with a latch. There's a piece of brass wire in the door. So these actually pivot and latch on the door. And there you can see there's an open, fast forward, it's painted, I don't remember what color gray on the inside. I think it's, oddly enough, Canadian National gray. I'm not sure. And some red that I liked at the time. Black on a lot of the ironwork on the latches. So this car I left latched. This one's unlatched. So you can see the latches actually pivot down and hang down when they're not engaged. So what holds these doors shut is just friction. So you latch them, load it up, and the friction is going to keep that door from unlatching. There's enough weight against it, it can't turn. So you got a close up here. These are sort of half latch, half not. You can see the pins that are there, and you can see the little handle hanging out from the brass piece. There's the end of the one, so you can see the brake. We have a ratchet and pawl casting. This is 28 thousandths brass wire threaded through into here, down to the precision. This is a Berkshire Valley casting down at the bottom. The standard stamped metal brake platform, a ratchet and pawl for Precision Scale, and a brake wheel for Precision Scale. And that's the second car. Looks like just like almost identical. It's a little different. There are little trace differences between the cars. And the doors are open on this one. So you can see there's the little pins on the doors for the latches. And you can see the handles and the latches down here below. And it's unlatched there. You can just see again the same thing I'm talking about. And the other end of that second car. And the underbody, after some walnut stain and some black paint, a little grubby. Maybe too grubby, maybe not grubby enough. Depends on how you feel about the underside of your cars. That's it. We're done with these cars. We're done with scratch building cars for a while. So next month, which is, I think, tomorrow, if my calendar is correct. I'm pretty sure it is. We've run out of June. I'm going to start with this old kit, and I have several sets of slides for that. So that'll take us partway through July. And Jim, whenever we get around to it, we need to talk about the Leadville Designs kit and get people to ordering their kits and stuff on that one, because I've got at least 4 sets of slides for that. So it's going to be at least 4 sessions.
I understand.
All right. There you go. So if we got questions about anything, now's the time to ask them.
Yeah, but the logging industry is who built that particular car.
Yeah.
And it was for blocks of wood when they were chopping down trees.
Okay, block car. That's what I called it, but I'll take your word for it. It was, and Bill's version was probably narrow gauge too, so.
Yeah, on the west
Oh, there
side,
you
they,
are.
yeah, on the west side, they used those, they actually, as a block car, those were offcuts from the lumber mill. And they sent them back to the camps to burn as firewood.
Fuel.
Yeah, fuel, yeah. But they were leftovers from the mill.
Leftovers.
Yeah,
Yeah, I get
leftover wood.
Oh, it's interesting because I would have thought they'd take the leftovers down to the chemistry plant and distill out all the good stuff.
Mm,
Oh, well, depends
Yeah,
on
but
type
wood
of,
alcohol doesn't work too well.
yeah, it depends on type of wood too. Okay, great. Thank you.